Oh, Lucky Luke! My diary by Rhys Pips. I could do with a good lol. Dear Diary, I think I need to start wearing more purple. I look good in purple.
Hacker! What are you doing? That's my private diary, my innermost thoughts.
Well, I think you need a bit more comedy in your life, because that diary of yours is dull.
Right, that's it. I've invented a button that will send you back in time in a flash. That'll teach you.
Oh, you mustn't send me back in time. Don't you dare. Oh, you've done it, haven't you? Oh, no.
Ha! That'll teach him. I've just sent Hacker back in time to the Stone Age to think about what he's done. And I may or may not have done it for comedy effect, seeing as today's theme and one of our books is a comedy masterpiece, which involves a bit of time travel too. So, welcome to CBBC Book Club, everyone. We're going to be chatting with Pooja Puri, author of A Dinosaur Ate My Sister. But before we chat with Pooja, earlier on we got to meet with funny man David O'Doherty to talk about his book, The Summer I Robbed a Bank. Now we are in for a treat. This episode we are looking at comedy books. So we brought in comedy superstar David O'Doherty to talk to us. How are you, David?
Hey you guys, hey Rhys. It's so nice to get to be on the show. Is Hacker okay? I am a little worried.
Dave, don't worry about him. That dog can look after himself. He's attention-seeking, if anything. Let's move on to our game, okay? I've got a great game for you that I think you're going to love. It's called the Emoji Challenge.
Okay.
I want to give you 3 emojis, and you've got around 20 seconds or so to then come up with a banging story featuring all 3 of those emojis. Are you game? Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, your emojis are rainbow, hamster, and taxi.
Wow.
Yeah, go.
A lot of people don't know what causes rainbows. Scientists say it's a very complicated thing about light and water. But the real reason that rainbows exist is because for tiny animals like mice and baby badgers, there's a taxi service that is run by hamsters. And when they're driving from one place to another, they don't drive on the ground, they drive up in the sky like that. And the exhaust from the hamster taxis causes rainbows. Is that 20 seconds? Is that story okay for you, Rhys?
That's phenomenal. Yeah, we'll take that. 20 seconds. I need more. Forget the sequel, I need the series. I want it to then go to a film series where the final film is split into 2 unnecessarily just to make more money. That's what I need. Can we quickly name that piece of art, David? What's this story called?
This is called Tiny Hamster Taxi Driver.
Tiny hamster taxi driver. I think it kind of rolls off the tongue quite well. This is great. Everyone, David will be sticking around with us talking about his new book, The Summer I Robbed a Bank. It's an autobiography, if you will. We'll be asking him about it.
I didn't rob a bank.
He says he didn't rob it. All right, apparently it's not. But we'll be talking about it with him very soon. And if you've read the book, let us know what you think about it. Now, enough of these games. Let's get on to the important stuff as we welcome Pooja Puri to CBBC Book Club. Hello, Pooja.
Hello.
So, Pooja, you've written a story called A Dinosaur Ate My Sister. And so the first thing I want to know is, what is it about?
So, A Dinosaur Ate My Sister is a wacky time travel adventure which features Isha Verma, a genius inventor, her apprentice Broccoli, and his tortoise Archibald. And Isha has just invented her most amazing invention yet, which is a time machine. But when her annoying big sister Nishi gets stuck in the age of the dinosaurs, Isha and Broccoli have to head back to rescue her. And on the way, they're going to face mysterious wormholes, terrifying time-space monsters, and of course, lots and lots of dinosaurs.
This is a very, very cool concept and a wonderful warning to siblings to stop messing with my stuff. That's what the main thing is. Pooja, are you speaking from experience here? Did you have an older or younger sister that kept coming into your room and messing with your things?
I do actually have a younger brother and a younger sister. They would come in and touch my stuff, and so this time round, I was like, you know what, I'm going to get one of them eaten by a dinosaur.
Yeah, I can't say anything to you in person, but I will write something about you guys, and I hope you realise the message. This is such a really cool concept. How did you even come up with the idea, firstly? And then how did you go about planning it?
I really wanted to write a time travel story because I've always loved time travel. I love Doctor Who, and I was playing around with a lot of ideas. And then one afternoon while I was brainstorming, a question came into my head, which was, well, you know what if you accidentally send someone through time? And then the next question was, what if that someone happened to be your annoying big sister? And then it was just like someone had flicked a switch, and then Isha appeared, Broccoli appeared, Nishi appeared, and they were all there ready for me to tell their story. I always knew that I wanted them to go back to the age of the dinosaurs, just because I love dinosaurs. And if I had a time machine, I would totally want to go back and meet one.
Now, you say you go back and meet one. I might go back and watch from a distance, you know, if I was going to meet the dinosaurs. But I totally get the sentiment. There are so many cool characters and funny moments in this book. What do you think makes a really funny character and moment?
I think a funny character and moment is one which makes you laugh out loud. And it's often when you're least expecting it in the story and you suddenly come across that moment and then you're in fits of giggles. It's also one that will make you want to go back to the start of a sentence or to the start of a chapter. And then, you know what, you just want to read it all over again because you're like, I just find it so funny. It's also one that for me, if I'm reading something really funny, I'll often put it down and want to go and tell family or friends and just share it with them because you want to make them laugh as well.
I totally agree. It's like when I'm reading something or I'm watching something and if it really made me laugh, I'll go back, I instantly rewind, I instantly go back to that sentence and read it again because I just want to feel that again. Now, speaking of this, what is who is your top favorite comedy character from a book of all time?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think I would have to say one of my top favorite comedy character duo are actually Mr. and Mrs. Twit from Roald Dahl's The Twits. And that's just because I remember reading this book when I was younger and squirming at all the really terrible tricks that they were playing on each other, from the squiggly spaghetti to the glass eye in the jug. And I remember finding it absolutely hilarious.
Did you ever try these tricks on your siblings?
No, never. No. I was well behaved.
Okay, you knew. You just thought, one day I'll write a book. One day, then I'll get my revenge. Thank you, Pooja. Now, as well as the great characters and stories in your books, you also have amazing illustrations, and they were done by your illustrator, Alan Fatmaharan, and he sent us a video of him hard at work. How cool is that? Now, Pooja, in your book, you create the words and Alan does the illustrations. But I know that you're quite a fan of fusing words together, as the main character, Isha, says, that you invent most of these words. So I thought, let me put you to the test, because I'm a bit of a dabbler in inventing words myself. So I've got a little challenge for you to see if you can tell which words I've fused together to invent a new word. Are you up for it?
I'm ready. Bring it on.
All right. So here's my first word for you, Pooja. First up, we have florgus.
Florgus. Could you put it in a sentence?
Wow. The bottom of your house is florgus. There you go.
I would say a gorgeous floor.
Correct, it is a floor and gorgeous, a gorgeous floor. So now instead of just saying I want a nice floor, I want florgus. The next one I have for you is huggalo.
Huggalo, right. I would say maybe a hugging pillow.
Okay,
Hug pillow.
all right. You're proving yourself, Pooja. You're proving yourself. Let's see if you can get this last one. A chocosaurus.
A chocosaurus. I would say a dinosaur that eats chocolate.
I have nothing left to teach you. You've done it. Who was I to think that I could test the true inventor of words? Well done, Pooja. That was very, very impressive. Are you a fan of the word chillax? Because that's one of my favourite fused words.
Yes, I like that word. I like to chillax after a hard day of writing.
I love it. All right, Pooja, we've started with the literary game, so let's continue. My next one, I am going to read you some comedy characters. You've got to guess who they are and maybe what book they're from, okay?
Okay,
all right.
Bring it.
First up, we have a set of twins. They both have red hair and they know a thing or two about riding a broomstick.
Oh, that's an easy one. That's Fred and George Weasley from Harry Potter.
All right, yeah, we thought we'd start you up early. Next up, we have a character who loves a tea party, a good hat, and he lives in Wonderland.
Okay, I think the hat's a bit of a clue, so I would guess the Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland.
I knew that was too good of a clue. I should have left that one out. Yes, correct. It is the Mad Hatter. Okay, final one. This person is the owner of a sweet factory. To get in, you need golden tickets, and you have a real issue if you decide to swim in a chocolate river.
Oh, right. That would have to be Willy Wonka from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh, 3 for 3, Pooja. You know what? You do know your comedy writing and you know your invented words. Well done. You've smashed both challenges. So for now, we're going to thank you for joining us in Book Club, telling us about your amazing book, A Dinosaur Ate My Sister. We hope the sister actually got rescued because, I mean, what a tragic tale that would be if she stayed with the dinosaur. But thank you for coming in and chatting with us about your book, A Dinosaur Ate My Sister. Join us in Book Club again soon, okay? And watch out for those dinosaurs.
Help!
I think Pooja's gone. Moving on, if you lucky lot haven't had your comedy fix yet, we got the chance to chat with Abigail Balf, author of A Different Sort of Normal about writing comedy, and here's what she had to say.
Hi, my name is Abigail Balf and I'm the author and illustrator of A Different Sort of Normal. Now, my idea of what makes a good comedy story is probably a little bit different from the ideas some people have of what makes a good comedy story. A few years ago, I actually did a comedy course where I was learning how to write jokes and tell them in a good story and do stand-up comedy on stage. But I was always told, oh, your stories are not really, you're not really getting to the point, and where is the punchline? I didn't like to have punchlines, and I didn't like to do things in the sort of way that people were telling me, because that's not what I found funny. So I continued to tell stories in a way that made me laugh. It actually worked, because even though my stories were rambly, with bits of humour peppered in and not really a really big punchline, it always made people laugh in the right places. My advice for writing a good comedy story is write what you know. Write what makes you laugh, because if you're not going to laugh, then there's a good chance that no one else will either. If I had listened to people who said, you should be writing like this, you should structure your comedy like this, then I wouldn't have written in the style that I write now. You always have to follow your heart and follow what makes you laugh. Also, reading comedy books, watching lots of comedy. I keep a notebook writing down all the funny things that I've heard people say, funny conversations, funny things I see happen in the street, and that's really good inspiration to use for characters and plots.
Now, there's more to come from Abigail in the next book club, so don't miss it. But thank you, Abigail. Now, I promised you that he'd be back, and here he is, back from, well, wherever he's been. It's David O'Doherty. Now, David and I had a chat about comedy writing, and here's what happened. What do you think makes a good comedy story?
I think the secret to a good comedy story is you have to think of a funny thing, and then think of another funny thing that happens after that, and then think of another funny thing, and then just keep thinking of funny things till you've written a book. And that's the secret, guys. That's all you have to do, Rhys.
This is literally the literary version of just building blocks upon each other. You're just, it's like, it's high, but it could be higher. I'm just gonna add more funny stuff. A comedy book sounds like the worst thing to read before bed as well, because you're laughing, you keep turning the page, it's too exciting, you've got too much energy after that, you're like, I can't sleep.
That is all I want. All I want from a book is to make people stay awake too late while they're reading it. For your mum or your dad or your nanny or granddad to knock on the door, it's like, do I see the light on in there? I'm like, no.
With all these comedy books, you've got to read loads and kind of get a lot of ideas so that you can, create something amazing for yourself. What's your favourite comedy book?
There's a series of books called Mr. Gum by Andy Stanton that makes me laugh a lot. And then I'm obsessed with a writer from London called Michael Rosen, who Going on a Bear Hunt is his most famous book. There's a book of his called Quick, Let's Get Out of Here that is my favourite ever book. And I read it I've read it since I was about 8, and I still read it twice a year.
Who's your favourite character from any funny book? What character do you think, that's me?
I like James from James and the Giant Peach a lot. I like characters that change, characters that go through an experience.
I always like that James is your favourite character because he's not like the funniest character either. James is just a nice kid. In fact, everyone else around him has all the quirkiness, and James is the straight man. So James is kind of you, reading how you would all be going, what's with this melancholy worm that just keeps complaining all the time? I just don't understand what's happening. We'll also be hearing more from David in the next book club. So again, do not miss it. We'll be chatting about his book and the summer holidays. Woohoo! And speaking of woohoo, it's that time of the show to award a big woohoo to our CBBC Book Club Fan of the Month. And this month it goes to Arina! Arina, there you are, reading McFluffy Goes to the Circus, loving that smile. Thank you for that selfie. And if you want a chance to be our CBBC Book Club Fan of the Month, just like Arina, head over to the CBBC Book Club page and join in.